Hello and welcome to the Dad and Sons podcast. Today we have the lovely George Weedman and the also lovely, Liam.
Wait. Also lovely whatever?
This is how I want to start the morning. Nice and groggy with so lovely people.
I was looking forward to indulging you in Hollow Knight, Matt, but now I'm kind of just like, well, whatever.
Yeah. You guys are gonna be getting into that, aren't you?
Oh yeah, real hard.
Well,
For entire minutes at a time, I bet.
We'll use 1 minute, okay? 1 minute, and we'll just like shotgun it out.
No. You can have more than 1 minute for talking about
a great game. Sure,
a game that's been out a while.
What?
This is not Metal Gear.
It's been out a week. It's been out a week.
Aren't you gonna talk about like that Crazy Guys game, A Way Out?
Oh yeah, that Crazy Guys game. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting how we're doing the podcast this week. I mean, last week we had our E3 train wreck spectacular bonanza. This week we're going back to regular, which means that we get to like fight for the games that we're talking about in the beginning. And since it's been like 2 weeks since that means that I have a list. I have a few. Well,
it seems smaller than usual, George.
Yeah, it does seem smaller than usual. And the first one you made a video on, so it's like we've already.
Yeah, like why are you even talking about it? Really?
Yeah, we've already been there.
Well, we have already been to A Way Out, but I kind of like went through a reversal, a metamorphosis, if you will. I've gone one end. I found my way out.
You've gone full David
end.
Cage,
and now I was fully emotionally engrossed. I was experiencing the revolutionary new cusp of video games as a storytelling medium. It's truly coming into it. So, I don't know. A Way Out never really did break out of that.
Oof.
Yeah, I know, right? It never really did like fully come into its own as something that felt like it like needed to be a cooperative David Cage game format up until the very, very end. Then it starts doing some cool things with being a cooperative David Cage co-op moment. But up to that point, it still gets a little interesting and fun with the format. And in a similar way to how Until Dawn did. It's self-aware of the cinematic tropes influencing behind it. Like, this thing goes through a montage of like ripping off all the major crime movies of the past, I want to say like 20 to 30 year window of crime movie archetypes. It goes through a bunch of stuff from Heat, and then a bunch of stuff from Scarface. Somehow there's a bunch of stuff from Face Off crammed in there too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do a job kind of homaging turn of the 80s going into 90s crime movie phenomenon that was really cute to see a game kind of homage and reference again, like they do a lot. The first half of the game where you're actually escaping from prison is like half homages to Shawshank Redemption. And when I was first playing through it, I was like thinking that was just the bedrock for the references and archetypes grounding this cinematic video gaming experience. But it was really just one of a very diverse toolbox of rip-off materials that they're going through.
It's funny because last week you were almost determined to derail our train wreck by very vocally wanting to talk about this. So I thought you'd done like a complete 180 and now decided it was good.
Well,
but
I mean...
Now in reflection, you seem to have gone back to how you were feeling.
The honeymoon phase is over now.
Yeah. Like last week, you were like, I have to set the record straight. I have to let the people know that.
Yeah, I do. I have to let them know that it's like fine, it's okay, it's perfectly, it's cool.
So you recommend people buy
it's okay.
It like last week, you were of a bit more of a positive tone towards it. Almost
definitely
a forgiving. You were
No,
apologetic
I'm
towards
positive. I'm still positive. I'm still apologetic. I apologize that it didn't seem as cool in the first half as it seems in the second half. It's just I think that the thing that makes it hard to judge is that A Way Out makes a great case for a like $25 price point that's not really exploited that often in the industry.
And you get like a second copy for a friend to play with for free, right?
Oh yeah, and that's actually how I did it, so I'm a real piece of shit.
Wait, what?
You
got a free copy.
Free with because as long as one player has a copy, the other player doesn't have to buy the copy.
That's amazing.
So you didn't even buy it. You got someone else to buy it for you.
And we had good fun for 6 hours and may never play it again, which sounds like
a movie. Like
right.
He wants. He wanted he wanted to make movies. He always did. Now he made one.
And I'm going to see what the price currently is for A Way Out on Origin. But yep, it's $30. And so for a 6-hour experience that you're not really going to replay immediately, that $30 becomes
I don't know, because technically it's $15. Because if you're gonna split it with a friend, you
could split it. Yes.
You get 2 copies. You have to play it with a friend. So I mean, unless one of you is incredibly generous, I assume most people will split the difference or whatever.
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, you're still getting 2 copies of a game for $30.
Wait. No. I need to clarify. The way it works is that if you purchase the A Way Out interactive entertainment video game product by Electronic Arts on the Origin by Electronic Arts Entertainment Interactive Software Fun Store, you're paying $30 for 1 copy of the game. Your friend, on the other hand, downloads the A Way Out Interactive Entertainment Medium Fun Friend Pass.
Yeah, but that is still technically the same thing, because that friend is never then going to go play it with someone else, are they?
Well, they can't start a new game by themselves with the friend pass version of the game.
Considering the limitations of the game anyway, not being able to play on your own and also having to have a friend there, it kind of seems just like 2 copies anyway. Because both, even if you own the account where you can start a new game, you still can't play unless someone else is willing to play with you.
And the thing that still did strike me towards the very end, even as it was getting interesting with the cooperative puzzle solving aspect, was you could still get an AI partner to do all this stuff. Even though it is way cooler having a friend there going through the emotional gravitas of tying the action to their narrative delivery, there's still nothing really keeping a computer from pressing the same button prompts that human could.
It looks like it does like a lot of... From the videos I've seen that have tried to be apologetic about it, not that it obviously isn't a bad game, but it tries to do far too many different like mechanics. Like, it introduces stuff all the time, right? Like, one minute you're, like, pushing a car door open or something, and then you're, like, fishing in water. It's like, you never do the same thing twice, right? Like, it has all these different activities that they experience together.
I think that's deliberate.
Yeah. I find that really intriguing, because that's really fucking hard to make. Like, multiple different systems that you're only going to use once is pretty unique.
Yeah, because animating takes time, doesn't it?
That's not even that. It's the way you interface with the game. Like, if you built a game around gunplay, but you only use, like, the gunplay a couple of times, and then you have to build entirely new systems for everything else, it's kind of intriguing that they've done it like that.
Speaking of which, half of the fun was just seeing how many absolutely ridiculous action scenes that fuck the Oscars guy, I guess, had choreographed our two rambunctious camp heroes to stumble and bumble their way through. This is a game that has a it has a third-person shooter system very thoroughly built into it with smooth recoil action every time you like click the crosshair and shoot the gun that kills the bad guys, that it doesn't let you really go ham with up until the story, for whatever reason, has you blasting bad guys in Mexico. Like, after you For minor spoilers, you break out of prison and then go after the crime lord who framed you guys and threw you in the joint, and he lives in Mexico. And the game has like a 30 to 45 minute shoulder high cover shooter section that apes on Max Payne by way of Scarface visual cliche jokes. And it's hilarious and completely comes out of nowhere, both from the perspective of the stuff the game had you doing and the tone that the cutscenes in the game were going for. And I laughed. I think I was laughing with the game, because at some point it gets so ridiculously self-aware that I could not laugh. And
so Mr. Joseph Fares, he did it. He did it again.
He found a way out.
He did it again. So when he said that, people, there's no way this is a bad game, he was correct.
I feel like my experience of going through A Way Out nicely mirrored his reassurance that even if you're a little leery at first, you're still going to come out having fun.
He the maker of a film called Balls in 2010. Joseph Fares.
Oh, he actually did make a film.
He made multiple. He also has a brother called Fares. His last name is his first name too.
Isn't the character in the game based on his brother?
Yeah, Leo. Yeah, and he was also in Rogue One. So, big timer here.
Wow.
I don't remember. Maybe he was like an off character. I don't remember. He was in like Zero Dark 30 as well. This is very interesting. Like this, I don't know, a Swedish
who would
acting
we class
circle.
more successful? Would we class his brother, who is a bit part in Rogue One, to be more successful than his brother, who has directed 2 pretty successful video games? How do we perceive video games in ratio to starring in a Star Wars film? What do we think?
I'm sure that I love them both equally.
The Fares brothers.
Vying for George's love.
Wow. Very, very interesting history. Someone needs to make a documentary about that. I just want to hear him talk for an hour. Just gush.
I can't believe
I'm amazing.
His brother's name is Fares. Like, it's spelled the same in both in front and in back. So,
maybe he's a great actor, but they're like, man, his name, can't do it, man.
Because I was just thinking that, like, if you get confused over which one is his first and which one is his last name, that sounds like it could be a problem up until you realize it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like, Fares, or where's the comma go? Is there a comma Fares, comma Fares? But which one is the first name? Which one is the last name?
Hello, Mr. Fares. Oh, don't call me that. Call me Fares. Mr. Fares is my father's name.
but with
the name's Fares. Fares.
Oh my God, we're going down a hole.
The thing is that granted, it is confusing like that, but it's safely confusing, because
weirdly, it should be easier.
You can't misspell that.
You rather go by Fares?
Well,
or
no.
Fares?
No.
Exactly.
You could spell it wrong twice. Like that, it's dangerous. If you spell it wrong once, you're more than likely going to spell it wrong twice.
Like FAIRS?
That's not fair.
That's not fairs.
Oh
All's
my
fairs and
god, no
fairs,
one's gonna
fairs.
find this funny but us.
Are we recording? Speaking of talking out of our asses about stuff we don't know about, George, finally, we have some evidence. Did we play? You played Fortnite, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I downloaded it shortly after Mr. Reggie Fils-Aimé made the announcement on the Nintendo
I like how
Direct.
me and Matt downloaded Hollow Knight immediately after that was announced. It was out today, and you went the opposite way and downloaded Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite's free.
Yeah, but Hollow Knight's
my God.
good.
Yeah, I guess.
Report back
I
your
guess
findings. Report back your findings. I imagine Fortnite's fine.
Fortnite is fine. Fortnite is perfectly okay. I am surprised that it is the Vanguard banner carrier for the medium of video games for today's generation of children.
Yeah.
Because it's really
Yeah, it's
not
a lot of skill in that game with the building. Holy hell.
It's faster and higher stress than Minecraft. I don't want to say it's like more complicated or that there's more of a learning curve than Minecraft. It's just that this is a very, very it's a fast-paced competitive shooter where you will die if you don't have spider-fingered Jedi reflexes like all the other players.
Because you can just go straight into another game, isn't that just all part of it? Like dying is inconsequential. And it's all bright and colorful, and you can build shit while you're walking around. Isn't this why this game is so popular?
Maybe dying still like
it's the building
and
it's
path.
the like extra stuff, the costumes, the dancing, it's everything. It's the little things. It's always the freaking little things.
But you got to buy a microtransaction for that. You have to buy a microtransaction for that, and then fill out your dailies, your quotas, your play 3 matches to complete this quote-unquote challenge meters.
Oh, it actually has dailies.
Unlock your cosmetics.
That's pretty smart. PUBG
Yeah.
doesn't have dailies, does it?
PUBG doesn't have anything. It's dead. It's gone.
I
Rip, rest in peace. Matt
I
killed it.
actually like it better than PUBG so far. I haven't played a lot. But
I think if I were to like one of those games, like if that was my jam, I think Fortnite would be the one I would enjoy as well.
It'll definitely be for Fortnite for me.
It
Definitely.
just has more to it, and it doesn't seem
a
so
fun game.
serious. Yeah,
I'm not into it, but it seems like I would enjoy the dancing and stuff like that. I would like the culture of that more than I would like, I'm a military shooter guy. I just not my thing. Not anymore, anyway.
good impression. In the middle of gunfights, people will like build a house.
Yes.
Like the moment that 2 people in Fortnite see each other, like there will all of a sudden be 12 walls built between the 2, and that adds a layer of strategy and depth, and also twitchy skill to learn. Like this is
how does
partially
that
one of the
work with a
reasons-
controller? Like,
very, very hard. This is why
I
I'm so
thought so.
surprised that this is like the Pokemon, Minecraft, Beatles, British invasion of the 2010s, like how Pogs were of the 90s. Is that this is an unwieldy, complex, clunky ass game to play on your Nintendo Switch Fun Machine.
Yeah.
well,
It could be done though. I mean, people
could
play on
imagine it-
console.
Working way easier on computer where you can point and click a wall where you want it to go, but
Well, that's
on
how it-
console you have
that's where
to
it sort
very,
of
very
started out,
delicately tickle your.
doesn't pro gamer MLG lad Ninja, doesn't he play with the controller, or does he play with keyboard and mouse? I don't know, because he used to play Halo, right? I think.
I don't know the kids.
I think he was like a professional Halo player, and then transitioned into streaming and ended up just being like one of the number
George,
one
you can't
in
get old.
Fortnite before Fortnite rode the wave to insane popularity, and with it, his own popularity.
George, you can't make us into those old guys, man. There's too many old guy podcasts out there, dude. These kids these days. No, George. You gotta hip it up, man. Start playing the Fortnite. Start getting hip with the kids.
Matt, should we stop playing and then be like the welcome to the 10-minute Fortnite podcast?
Yeah.
How about those new dance moves?
The Sons and Sons talk about Fortnite. Because it can't be dads.
No, it can't be dads. It was kind of scary. We got Father's Day messages from people.
Yes, we did.
And that kind of scared me way before our time as human beings to be fathers.
Well, that's me and you, Liam. George's.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, didn't we determine that George was an uncle like 3 podcasts back?
Yeah, he already had
you
kids.
said
They're
I would
already
be
grown
like
up.
one of the weird uncles who'd be super cool to the kids, but weird to the adults.
By saying, kids these days, and yet was always talking with the kids.
Oh my god.
I will say one thing about Fortnite is that they've set it up to be this wacky, crazy, zany thing, which means they can do fucking anything with it, which is so smart. Like that Thanos crossover thing, the smartest shit. And it didn't look or feel out of place at all because of the way Fortnite looks. But if you imagine that promotional shit happening in PUBG and they make like a realistic looking Thanos and place him in the middle of a PUBG match, it'd be weird. Which is crazy because it means with Fortnite they can just do whatever they want. They can literally do anything.
Also includes a visual style that kind of lends itself to the iconography of video games. Like, guns glow from a distance.
It looks like WildStar to me. I don't know if you ever played that MMO.
Swooping down on... Oh, I think that's Matt's favorite genre. When you're swooping down on a parachute from above, you can see where you want to be landing from a distance with your parachute because of stylistic shit like that. Like
it's a green mountain with a purple mushroom on it. Like, I know where I'm going.
Just like WildStar.
Oh, WildStar. I remember those guys. I thought they were going to be doing good things, just to kind of like, you know how Fortnite, they did the Fortnite look. Yeah, but they kind of.
Yeah, they did. They totally did. Like, it reminds me of like when WoW got its revamped graphics, Warlords of Draenor era, and like it had all this cartoony style, and they started putting dancing and stuff in it. It looked great. And WildStar arguably looked really cool as well, and Fortnite has carried on this sort of cartoony looking thing. It looks fine.
And it's I think fine is a perfectly passive aggressive way to describe how acceptable this video game is.
Well, I kind of want to check it out.
Yes, let's do it.
Well, if you kind of want to check out Fortnite, feel free to download it for free on your Nintendo Switch, which will save you the extra steps of having to make a Epic game client download on your desktop and making an account there. They have you make an account on the Nintendo Switch instead. And the whole entire reason why I think I downloaded it on the Switch was because I didn't want to install more stuff on my computer.
Well, the thing is, I had the choice between the memory card space I had left on my Switch, and Hollow Knight and Octopath Traveler's demo took it, so I'd have to make space for Fortnite, and I kind of just don't want to do that right now.
That's okay, my child. I forgive you.
Thank you, Uncle. Speaking of good games on the Switch, Matt. Hollow Knight. Finally, after like when we started
Did
this
you guys
podcast.
plan that?
Huh?
Yeah.
No, we
That
didn't.
like that
Damn
weird
it, Matt, don't
hollow
say that.
gobble you guys did?
It comes within the heart.
Don't let them know we don't plan anything.
that beats beats blood through my body.
Gosh, I guess I really got to play this.
It's rare that I really freaking like a game these days. Okay, like
No
it
shit.
is like I'm like, oh my god, I would play it again. Like that doesn't happen anymore to me. So it's like okay, I enjoyed this game. Oh, okay, I enjoyed this game. But like Hollow Knight, like I freaking really enjoyed that game. Like kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest. I really enjoyed those games. So Hollow Knight, picking that back up again and actually trying to 100% complete it, even with the new like 3 free DLC packs that they put out. That's like a bunch of boss battles and stuff like that. I haven't even touched it yet. I've been waiting for the Switch to come out. So now I'm 100% completing it, and it's fun. It's as fun as I remember. It's a little bit easier for me now. It's either I've gotten better at games or I kind of gotten used to kind of like the 2D, I guess, action, whatever you call it, side strolling, but skills, I guess. Skills.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells and stuff lately, so I guess that kind of works out.
Similar vein, yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, this is
bosses are a little bit easier now.
So I've been wanting to play this game for a long time. I didn't bother. Is when they announced that there was going to be the Switch version, which was around the time when the Switch was announced, I was like, oh shit, like, you know, first year there's going to be like Hollow Knight on the Switch. I'm just going to hold out and wait. And then it got delayed. And then I was like, you know, I really want to play Hollow Knight. Everyone says it's really good. I was kind of tempted on the PC version. But I'm glad I waited. So now I'm playing it on the Switch. I'm playing it in bed, like in the dark, on the handheld screen. It's so nice. That game is so perfect for that screen. It looks gorgeous.
At first, I gotta say, I was like, man, everything's so tiny. Like the texts are so tiny. But you get used to it after a couple hours.
Because text doesn't appear that often. Like, very rarely you stumble across characters and end up chatting for ages and ages. Most of the time you're just sort of stumbling through that mid-tone blue darkness. Yeah. And it's really nice. It looks so nice on that screen. And the game is great. Like, we were talking before we started recording about how pathetic my progress is so far. But I'm still really enjoying it. And I need Matt's help. I don't want to spoil it for other people, but I'm kind of in that position where I've done everything and there's something I'm missing in this certain area and I don't know what it is and I'm kind of wandering back and forth and then I'll come across
it happens. It happens
and
to
I'll die and I'll be like, yeah.
It seems to happen like every first time you're through. There's like this weird section where you're like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, I'm obviously could get through here. I obviously can get through here, but I'm missing something.
Like you,
and
were
it's because you need to explore
jump?
Everything.
Yeah, you were like, if you got the double jump, and I was like, no, but if I did, there's like 4 areas I stumbled across where the double jump would be super useful. Tell me where it is, Matt. Yeah. Tell me.
What I tend to do is I grow through the game, and if I see things that's obviously I can't get right now, I just keep going through it and get all the power-ups. When I get the power-ups, then I go back through those areas and get all
Basically now I'm just like, I bought the map and I bought the ability to record the map myself. So I've been like exploring as much as I can, going back to a bench so I can see the whole map and see how much bigger it's like getting, like in the underground well bit I'm in. Mm-hmm. And like I'm basically just trying to go as far as I can, but I've not found anything that will help me progress to the areas that seem to be locked off at the moment. So maybe I just need to push a little further. But I'm probably just missing like one opening that I've not explored yet, and then all the answers will be revealed to me then.
Yeah, go below the City of Tears, my brother. City of Tears.
City of Tears. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in my mind.
All the tears
keep it in my
into
mind.
The ground. Good
It's
game.
Great. It's great.
It's
like,
a freaking phenomenal game.
And it's like what? It's like $15 or whatever. Less than that?
Yeah, it's $15. It's $15 with all the DLC and everything. If you like 2D Metroidvania, can we stop
Dark
using that
Souls.
word? Yeah.
Can we stop using that as well?
Yeah.
If you like Metroidvania Dark Souls games,
yeah, that's basically what it is.
it's exactly like that, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, you definitely get rewarded for exploration, like immensely.
It's like nicely paced Dark Souls, I feel like. There's lots of elements where you can calmly just walk and explore, which is nice. You need that sort of sense of relief sometimes. But man, you have to be prepared to go up against some bosses and some enemies. Like, the game can be tough.
When you see a big haul, you want to make sure that you're ready. Make sure you got your goop.
And it's got some really interesting mechanics. Like, the Souls games are based off, using the souls you get to basically just boost your character or bonfires and stuff like that. And they've improved over the various games in the series. But with Hollow Knight, the interesting balance between not only like harvesting like coins or whatever, that is like the currency for souls. You can literally harvest like, I don't know, like your own essence or your soul by hitting enemies, and then you can use that to recover your own health, or you can use it to like attack enemies and stuff like that. Like, that is a really interesting mechanic that I really like.
Yeah, it's balanced very well because you actually have to sit there and charge up the soul in order to heal one life, one little beat of
exactly.
HP.
And it's not even that. It's like you could have like 5 enemies around you but be on 1 health, and it's like, shit, do I go back up to 3, or do I just use like the soul discharge thing to like just blow all of them away, and then I'm stuck on 1 health until I stumble across more enemies so I can attack them. But it's not like the biggest risk reward system, but it definitely makes you think in certain areas against certain bosses, and it does have like that charging time that you have to go through to get your life back. It's good though.
And then you have the charms that change everything that you do. Like gives you a shield when you're charging, makes your attack stronger, change your attacks, makes you dash faster. There's all sorts of different type of charms that you could equip to your character. The more charms you get, the more notches you get, so you can add more charms that cost more notches. It's a good concept. It's good stuff. And there's random merchants around as well as like the very dark Souls feel of like random NPCs around that tell you some dark
NPCs who you're amazed that they actually live in this world. You're like, how the fuck do you live here? Like, why do you live here? Are you even like a normal being? Like, what is it with you being here? This place is desolate. What the fuck are you doing here? What's wrong with you? And
it's not only like just weird NPCs. There's like some NPCs that you kind of like because the way they are. Like, the one I found, like the woman who's mining those pink crystals, and she's like, do you like my voice? And she's like, she has like such a sweet like little tone when you start talking to her that the devs know that you're gonna really like her voice. And then she's like, hey, do you like my voice? And you're like, I do, I really do. You have such a sweet little tune to you.
How did they know?
They know.
They know. They know. She, like, immediately you listen to it before you see the text, and you're like, damn, that's a sweet little voice. And then she's like, did you like my voice? And you're like, yes, I did.
There's a lot of little cute things in there, and it gets dark. For people who have played the game, know what I'm saying. It's just because of what Liam just said. And there's like little.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. If something happens to that sweet little pink bug,
not necessarily.
I'm gonna fucking find Team Cherry.
You can find like NPCs and they'll go back to your town. It's literally kind of a little like Dark Souls, yeah, like
it is.
Did you ever find? I guess it's kind of spoilers. There's like this little like chubby bug that like was getting dazed out and you save her, and she goes back, and because you save her, she like loves you, and every
No,
time you dash onto the
found her yet.
screen, she goes, "Oh!" Every single time. There's
No,
like a
I
little
haven't found her
poem
yet.
written inside of her house. It's, oh my God, there's so much charm to that game. I love it so much.
It's very
God.
good. I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can stick with it to like play it all the way through. So I just need to get over my current hitch. I need to find the double jump or whatever and explore the areas I can't explore yet. So I'm just bad at games.
Don't worry, I
Well,
shall show you the way out.
Sounds like a fun time. I mean, basically having all of the critical acclaim behind this thing vindicated. After...
I mean, George, you would like it.
I bet I would. I mean, it's been on my to-do list forever, and I always love a good immersive Metroidvania. They're just so comfy, and this sounds like like it was built for the comf.
You like sword and sorcery. Like this is obviously way different from not swords and sorcery.
Salt and
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Super Brothers, that pixel game, which is also really good. But yeah, like this is, if you like Salt, you'll probably like this too.
If you like Salt with good art, you'll like this.
Yeah, like Salt is different though. Salt is definitely different. They were trying to really go for that like Dark Souls feel, like hardcore.
And I know that every time you say those two words in a video game review now, some people on the internet make fun of you.
Yeah.
But
because everyone
in games
copies
like
it.
Salt, it's impossible though. In games like Salt and Sanctuary and Hollow Knight, they are directly riffing on Dark Souls, like openly, admittedly so. Like if you ever watched the GDC talk, that was a post-mortem on Salt and Sanctuary. Their whole one-line pitch was 2D Dark Souls. Like that's what they set out to make. So I'm not surprised.
And yeah, they did it. The thing is, like, I
Guys,
would
I'm
say
just gonna
Hollow
quickly-
Knight
I
has
have
made it into
to-
its own. Like,
Guys,
it's not
just
2D Dark Souls. It's its own game. It's not
Guys.
just like stealing.
Can I step in with something that someone asked me to talk about on Twitter?
Oh no! I think I know what this is. I think I see it on the outline.
Let me talk about Boku no Hero Academia. My Hero
What?
Academia.
Are we back in?
What is this even about? Is it about a hero, or is it about academia, or is it about,
It's about
Boko?
both. It's about both.
Oh
Boku is me. So, Boku no Hero Academia, as it's known here in the wild west of Japan, is like the brand new sort of Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball shonen. Like it's the big shonen sort of thing at the moment.
It's
And
everywhere.
yeah, for good reason.
It's good.
Matt, are you current? Are you
I've caught up, but I didn't know that the season 3 just like got shotgun out like that quickly. I saw your
Dude,
tweet and I was like, wait a minute,
literally-
season 3's out? Like, what the hell?
like literally season 1's pretty good. Season 2 was fantastic. Season motherfucking 3, man. Holy
progression? Some progression? Okay.
This is the thing, like I was sort of talking to about a couple of friends of mine who watch anime as well, and sort of going, like, it's 49 episodes in. Like, in anime terms, for a shonen, it's still pretty young.
Yeah.
Still pretty young. It's only on season 3. And, like, you know, Dragon Ball has, 300 plus episodes. You know, Bleach had whatever. Fuck, who cares about Bleach? You know, One Piece and Naruto had in their 800s to 900s or whatever. In ratio to how many fights and to how many special moments we get in My Hero compared to other, like, for example, one of my favorites is Hunter x Hunter. That's about 120 episodes
Oh
long.
my God, I love that show.
I know, right?
It makes
And,
me
like,
so sad. It really does. We're never going to
Sad
see the
that-
end of that.
Oh, I know. I'm wearing a Hunter x Hunter top right now, actually.
A top? Or like a crop top?
No, like a t-shirt. Like a t-shirt, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a t-shirt, man. It could be a crop top if you want. But it's a t-shirt.
I just want a picture if it's a crop top. Could go ahead.
It's got Hisoka on the back of it with Chrollo. It could be anything you want, man. How did we get here? Anyway, My Hero is like
Master D.
My Hero is like as good as Hunter x Hunter now for me. Like
What?
season three. Everyone who has read the manga knows, and everyone who's current, of course, will know. Like, All Might is like a damn fine character, but season 3, oh boy, baby.
No.
Oh god, like episode
can't be
49,
better.
this week's episode.
It can't be better than Hunter x Hunter unless there's a guy orgasming while you're fighting him. Like, just like, oh yes, like hit me.
So Matt, the last time I screamed at a TV like "fuck yeah!" like was during the last sort of parts of the Ants arc in Hunter x Hunter. Gon's hair, all the madness going off, right? That was like the last true time I really "fuck yeah!" loudly on my own in my apartment in darkness to a TV with moving pictures on them. Until now. The past like 3 or 4 episodes of My Hero, from the start of when they try to go to this sort of training camp in the forest, everyone will know that's when shit kicks off, to the 49th episode, which came out this week. I have screamed "fuck yeah" on multiple occasions during the past couple of episodes because it has been so good. I can't believe how good it's been at times. It's like, you think it reaches like the season 2 peak with Deku fighting like Todoroki and like the animation being fucking amazing, but that was like one high, whereas we've had like multiple highs in season 3. It's so good. I have to mention it. Like, if you're into anime and you haven't watched My Hero yet, and you know why, you know everyone's talking about it, which is, you know, fair enough. Like, that can be off-putting sometimes. Everyone's talking about it. Oh, what's the big idea, kind of thing. But seriously, like, season 3 is pretty masterful so far in terms of like doing good shonen anime.
Are there like
Matt, catch up, brother?
bad
so
guys?
we can talk about it.
I'm trying to find it. Has it been dubbed yet?
No.
They're usually
Why
quick.
would you want to watch All Might dubbed?
It's good.
Japanese All Might's the best. Actually, isn't All Might Vegeta in English? Isn't it Chris Sabat?
What's the synopsis? Is there like a quest that they go on?
Okay,
my
so
gosh.
like, yeah, so it's My Hero Academia. So basically, everyone in the world is either has a quirk, which is their superpower, or sometimes it's just
You already
a
lost
power
him.
they
He's
have.
done. You already lost him.
Yeah.
Oh no! So everyone's just a little bit weird, but they're
No,
okay deep down inside.
No.
Gotcha.
Some people are weird. Some people have weird powers. And then some
in a
people
world where some people are weird.
don't. That's literally the premise. Good
Okay,
job.
okay. So far, I'm following you.
And you fucking threw me off, you piece of shit. So everyone either has a quirk or doesn't. And these quirks aren't necessarily good. They're not necessarily superpowers. But a lot of people then, with these quirks, go on to go to a hero school.
Oh,
To
so that's
then
why they're Boku no heroes.
No, Boku no Hero means like My Hero Academia. It means like my study. Like Hero Academy is where they go. And
Yeah, I thought they were like my hero because they were like a special person being fawned over with admiration from the speaker.
No, it's like it's literally a school they go to. They actually have academia. They study.
Gotcha. Yeah, for being a hero, they're at hero
Don't-
school.
Yeah,
Don't-
yeah.
Don't try to convince him. He's gone.
I see.
I know.
He's gone.
The uncle
But-
is trying to understand.
Yeah, you have to re-explain. It's like, yeah, I for certain series I do dabble in the dub so I can like focus on the animation. I got listen. I was like I usually do subs, but then like for instance like Dragon Ball Super. I watched it in dub after like watching like 50 episodes in sub, and I gotta say the dub is just way better. It's just freaking way better. Like the way Goku sounds when he's charging up compared to like the sub, like it's just ridiculously like there's no like pump in it compared to the to the American version. I don't know, man. There's certain things that are just sound better, and I think All Might sounds fine. I never noticed the difference when I switched between them because I watched the first season in sub and the second season in dub, and I like the dub.
I imagine he does.
Yeah,
but I'm almost inclined to say All Might is the greatest voice acting performance ever in Japanese. At times, he's just incredible. And like in the past couple of episodes, it's been heavily focused on All Might, and
that's good.
Man, oh baby,
that's like if they came out with One Punch Man, and they actually like dived into like how he got his powers and stuff.
Yeah, but
I would want to watch that. I would definitely want to watch that.
That's good about My Hero is like they actually fucking have character development in a shonen. What's that all about? Like, and it's not like atypical fucking boy has power, boy has untapped potential, boy becomes fucking super genius combat fighter nonsense like in all other shonen. It's like you have this whole range cast of characters. Yeah, Deku is like the main character, but then also like All Might is the main character, and then also like Bakugo is like the main character, and then it flips back and forth between all these very different but very unique characters, and gives them all like time to develop and gives them their own stories. Like you've got Idia and like his responsibilities as a hero and trying to be the class representative, but also his brother, and then revenge, and then you had like Deku following in All Might and also being like the best, and then Bakugo being like wanting to be the best and kind of always being number two and being angry about it, and Todoroki and his dad and his mom, and there's just this whole complexity on top of like it being like a kick-ass shonen with lots of amazing fights and animation in it as well. And then like the stuff with All Might in season 3 is so good and so great. Like you really feel the emotion. It's awesome. Like I highly recommend it to anyone. Like even if you're not a fan of anime, but you want to watch something like that truly like gets you pumped up, like it's the way to go. It's good.
Well, another thing that could possibly get you pumped up and ready to go is Dragon Ball Fighters. Zed? Fighters.
Well, if Fighters ends with a Z, then it's like a little redundant to be Fighter Z.
Fighters.
It would just be Fighters.
I'm trying to say it all the ways. There's Fighter Z, there's Fighters, there's Fighter Z, because people for some reason say Z when they see a Z. So I just thought I would throw that in there too as well. Anyways, Dragon Ball. I rented this when I was over a friend's house yesterday. We were looking for Detroit, but we couldn't find it in Redbox. So we got the next best thing was Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and it's fun to play. Like I've never, it's exactly like fighting, almost a little bit better than Dragon Ball Super's animation, but it's really good. It's really fun to play. It seems a little bit easy to do combos, but I mean I'm not a genius fighter, so I don't know if that's like a balancing issue or anything like that. People generally
well,
seem
the
to
problem
like
is
it.
like they are relatively easy to do, but they are super hard to get like deep into, and then some people get super deep.
I see that. I do some really ridiculous stuff, and I'm like, how did I do that? I want to do it again, and I try to do it again, and just,
I know.
It's not.
And then you play against someone, and they just absolutely rip you to shreds. Ugh.
It's like you do like some amazing combo and end it with like a blast to the face off screen. Like it looks so amazing, and then you can't do it again, and then someone else does it too. I gotta say, like as far as the fighting, the gameplay is fun. The story, on the other hand, it's not so good. It's just there.
I don't think I even
bad.
Did the story.
It's just there. Leaves some to be desired.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just don't know if the story aspect is where where you should really be focusing your critical energies.
Yeah, I like a good story in a fighting game. That's just kind of
that's so.
That's where you unlock characters. Is during the story. I need it to be okay. And I mean, it's
fighting games have had good stories. Let alone how many Dragon.
What do you
Ball
mean? Mortal Kombat
media.
had a great story. Had a fun ass story in there. So did Injustice. What are you talking about? Have you played games? Have you played games?
Injustice seems like it has a fine story mode for a fighting game.
Yes.
But fighting game storylines are like infamously cluster.
They used to be. And then a few fighting games came out with something decent. Except for Street Fighter V. That's trash.
Yeah, Street Fighter is still bad.
Still trash. No, there's a couple games that came out recently that have decent stories.
Now?
Huh?
Mortal Kombat is good now?
Yes.
The story?
You never played it?
I played the old games and I remember
the old games. How old are you?
And Shao Kahn too old.
We're gonna be like the giant bomb cast with a bunch of old people.
I played the Mortal Kombat games, and they did have an interesting story. Injustice took it even further and had an even better one. And
you remember the Super Nintendo? Oh man, that was the golden age of games.
All right, Justin Roiland.
I feel so bad, but also just kind of the same.
Truly living up to uncle status.
So I don't trash on one podcast. What's another podcast with a bunch of old people? Mostly a bunch of old white men.
Just like go to the Google. Just type.
Does the White
podcast.
House do one?
They're all the same. You're gonna cut that, right? You're gonna cut that out, right, George?
I'll mark this fiasco down.
Mark.
I mean, you can leave it in. It's totally up to you.
Shady Acres. Shady Acres.
I'm Everett Carrington. Shady Acres is an incredible, upscale, state-of-the-art, top-notch condominium development. A short drive out of town on some pristine wetlands, away from the noise and uninvited diversity of the city.
Shady Acres.
And when you buy into that dream that is Shady Acres, not only do you get a luxurious 5,000 square foot condo with underground parking for your newly acquired sports car, but there's also a jacuzzi for entertaining.
Jacuzzi.
Each condo is tastefully furnished with a stock bar and an exotic waterbed shaped like a dollar sign. Shady Acres also has a golf range, firing range, helipad, and exotic petting zoo when your kids come to visit. You're successful? Start defining your lifestyle. Start defining yourself.
Shady Acres.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, and welcome back to the Dad and Sons podcast. And taking a shit on everybody else but us.
What could you possibly be referring to in this particular instance of that happening?
Nothing. Nothing at all. What's been going on in the news, George?
So you guys remember? Sorry, you guys remember the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer from last week's E3 inaugural Bonanza Spectacular, right?
Yes.
Why are people angry about this, George?
There was a 50-minute demo that I think we also talked about briefly on the podcast last week.
Yeah, and how every single person loved it, right?
Yeah, there was a smattering of features that I threw out. I was like, oh, they're doing a kind of like Deus Ex-y kind of GTA thing. There's like first-person FPS RPG. Apparently, some people within the first few responses of that demo's reset era thread became offended that this game primarily operates on a first-person perspective mode of operation, which is what I have always been expecting, if not
Why
like
are
perfectly
people angry
accepting
about this?
of this. Cyberpunk 2077's first-person perspective has caused a bit of an info crisis out there on the cybersphere. Some perturbed users have jerked in to the complaint zone and typed out their grievances with the game's cybersmiths. And
it baffles me why a game predominantly about gun combat they would be angry about it being in first person.
that's generally the
Like
grand
Deus Ex
schism.
is fantastic in first person. Fallout 3 and 4, yes, you can play them in third person, but who does? I am.
Babies.
I
Baby
actually didn't.
people.
I don't know. I just didn't really think about it, but I thought it was going to be in third person. I'm not
I
mad
think
about
people
it,
think
though.
that just because of The Witcher 3, right?
Yeah,
The
that's
Witcher
pretty
games
much
are
it.
third
Yeah.
person. But there's sword fighting games that you need space to be able to see where you're sort of swinging your sword, right?
sword.
You need to be able to see the combat, right? Whereas, like in a shooting game, you need to be able to see where you're shooting, and unless it's going to be like a third-person action game with like guns, like Gears of War or something like that, like what are people expecting about a game about guns? Like, regardless of whether it's an RPG or not.
On top of the gameplay seemingly demanding a first-person perspective, I also think that things that are called cyberpunk are probably going to be a first-person perspective thing anyway. I can't think of many cyberpunk adventures that would take place from the third person. I mean, there's Remember Me, I guess. But
you know,
the
we've
first
not
person
seen Remember Me number 2
luminaries. Get the joke. The luminaries of the cyberpunk genre and the cyberpunk aesthetic that have made the transition over into video games seem to be famously first-person shooters. The Deus Ex games are first-person. The Judge Dredd game was first person. Oh no, the Blade Runner game though, that was a point-and-click adventure. EYE Divine Cybermancy, that was first person.
I'm just baffled as to why people would be angry about this.
So I actually have the Reset Era thread open with some of these opinions.
The reasons.
There's a person whose name begins with an M. We can say that they rhyme with melanoma.
How about you just tell them what the combat, the comment is, not the combat.
Melanoma on Reset Era says FPS frowny face. Edit. I trust them to make a great game and I'm still excited about it. However, I prefer to look at my character, especially if it is a customized character. I like to look at the character the majority of time, which is during gameplay. FPS open world occasionally gives me headaches as well, but it's mostly a preference thing in RPG that I feel more in the world with third person.
I agree with third person. I do agree with third person. I think if CD Projekt Red wanted to do it in first person, there's a reason behind it. so I don't really
Yeah.
care that much. But I would have loved for it to be third person. But again, like if I can't see most of the world or whatever they're trying to show us through the gameplay or anything like that, or there's like combat or any like mechanics that I need to be able to see the whole screen and not have my character blocking anything, then I would say, I'm assuming that's why they made that choice. So I'm totally okay with first person. I would like third
Like,
person.
it seems like there are going to be elements that are going to be third person. Like, you're going to do a lot of driving, and I imagine they are not going to make you drive in first person if you don't want to.
Oh, but with the VR headset, it would be super rad.
Yeah, and that might be a thing, but in terms of, like, considering we
Could
have,
you
like, an
imagine?
industry
Holy
standard
shit.
where you change the camera to whatever you want when you're in the car, maybe you can drive first person or third person. Also, they said they're going to have, like, full frontal nudity, full-on sex scenes. I imagine it'll be interesting to
what?
see if that's in first person.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt,
So
you
this
heard
was,
me
this
right, boy.
was another aspect from the demo. News just in.
So what, we able to
Cyberpunk-
see some balls? Is that what I'm...
You might get to see some
Oh, yeah,
cyber balls, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Cyberballs.
actual
Some
cyber
space
balls.
A little cyber sausage.
Yeah, like
Dangling
male
around.
enhancement, sausage,
My sausage is augmented.
Yes, I want that dialogue. Yes, my sausage is augmented. That's
Have
on
you
a
had any-
t-shirt for sure.
Have you had any implants? No. But I've had cybernetics.
So another opinion. Let's say their username rhymes with shits. They say it's not about if it will be good or not. I think it will be great if you like playing in first person. It's about comfort and self-awareness. I can't take first person games. I don't like them. To me, it feels bad to move. I don't feel like I know well where my character is. It just
Wow.
doesn't feel good to me. What else can I say? I just don't like it. I think that's reason enough. I do dismiss any game because of it. There's a lot more games that make me feel more comfortable, and yes, I've tried a ton of first-person games that are recommended, from Doom to BioShock to Counter-Strike, Dishonored, or Fallout. Any of them don't feel good to me. I probably shouldn't have posted anything at all. It was a bad, low-effort post,
He's
but it was
absolutely
my
right.
initial reaction because it's a shift from something that I liked that was in the Witcher series. I won't post anymore here. I'm sorry.
What a life to not play anything that's first person. I mean, I'm not gonna
know, it
hate on
makes
him
me
for his
feel-
taste, but Jesus, he's not gonna try any first person.
When it seems like such a natural, organic interface with which to interact with the world. I mean,
Just like your normal everyday life. Like,
yeah, when I walk around out of my bed when I wake up in the morning, I'm able to
I
keep
do
my
it in
sense
first
of
person.
balance because my point of view isn't like 3 feet behind my head, and
We're living
There
in
is a disconnect,
2018.
obviously.
Everyone has VR goggles that has a drone fly behind them at all times.
Everyone. Oh,
Everyone.
everyone. Oh, everyone. Thanks for salt and wounds.
so IGN got some quotes from the developers who officially responded to the controversy of their game.
Wow.
I
Being
hope
a
it was just like,
first-person game.
fuck you. I hope it was just like, fuck you. Just we'll do what we want. More devs need to
This
say
just
that.
in. We got a news update. CD Projekt Red says this major component of the game caused quite a bit of conversation online, with some Witcher fans vocal in their disappointment of the change in perspective. Oh God, I didn't even show you guys the change.org petition. I'll wait
No.
on that.
They made
way.
a fucking petition. Oh my god.
Peter Glinseer, the lead level design on Cyberpunk, says, first and foremost, I really enjoy all the attention the subject is getting because it's important. This has been an educated decision. Guys, I swear we know what we're doing. Give us a break here. Come on, Jesus
We made
Christ.
The Witcher 3. Jesus fucking Christ.
The first-person point of view is there so you can see things happening up close, and so you can really
Exactly.
interact with things in a visceral manner with the game world.
I figured.
That's a polite way of putting it.
They said
it
that too?
worked out
That's a
well.
polite way of putting it? They said that too?
It worked out well with our exploration of the genre. Change.org, cyberpunk first person. You guys, I don't know how much sincerity I should be taking this change.org petition with, but I
Can
will
we
post
just move
it
on? Can we,
in our
can we-
Skype.
can we-
I'll post it in the description and then
Seriously?
we'll move on, and you guys can see how full of bullshit this is.
You have 148 have signed. Let's get 200. Whoa, 150, 152. Oh my God,
I'm
it's going
seeing
up.
171. I am seeing a different amount of people who want the FPS taken out of this FPS game than you are.
Alexi? That's how you say that? Alexi is counting on you to sign,
Like-
to get a developer to literally change their whole game. Their whole game. Make people lose money, make the company lose money just because they don't want a freaking first person game.
I reckon, I'd just laugh if CD Projekt Red were just like, there is a third person in the game. We just haven't told anyone yet. And they're just going to be laughing their balls off back in the office, just like, look at these idiots. Look at these complete and utter idiots. Just, yeah, they haven't even played the game in first person yet. Like, I could see them starting a petition for like a third person patch if they played the first person game and it wasn't good.
Maybe they have like motion sickness or some other physical ailment keeping them physically from playing.
Apart from just every comment says RPGs should be third person.
I think you're looking at it as a very like individual level here when this is, they don't have to play this game. CD Projekt Red is not making a game for specifically them. They are making a game that they want to make, and if
Dudes,
they don't want to play it, they just do not buy it.
Dudes, I'm so angry. Will you sign my petition to make Call of Duty a third-person game? Those devs don't know what is best. Please sign my petition to change Call of Duty to a third-person game. And while we're at it, I want to change Mario to a first-person game. Because platforming, we all know, is better in first person. Sign my petition.
Sign it.
I mean,
Sign it.
I have my suspicions that the petition might be a joke. Petitions. A joke situation.
Let's hope so. Can we just move on from this shit now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of other news stories making people kind of irrationally angry over video game products.
I think this is a genuine thing, though.
The
think-
anger is more rational here.
I think it's fully justified.
So we were talking about Fortnite earlier and how popular it is with the kids and how big of a deal it is that it is coming over to the Nintendo Switch. Epic is stretching out their Nintendo connections, getting Unreal Engine working on the NVIDIA Shield, meant getting it working on the Switch, which required them to open up a Japanese subsidiary. And they jumped through all those hoops to get Fortnite on Switch with cross-platform play, no less, to all the other platforms that Fortnite is available on, with the exception of the PlayStation 4, which has been blocked by Sony on the grounds of it heating up their competition with Nintendo too much. When asked, Epic Games PR representative Nick Chester confirms on Twitter that the Switch version of Fortnite is going to be cross-playable with just about everything except the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. because it's Sony's decision to not allow.
And unfortunately, Epic has to be the bearer of bad news and say that the Epic accounts anyone had who might have been... Any Epic accounts anyone have had that might have been tied to their PSN accounts are unfortunately locked out of the Nintendo Switch player pool, which I believe means that if you then tried to relink it with your Nintendo account afterwards, you're not able to. If you want to start playing on the Switch you have to make a new one.
You have to start a new account. And this is the problem, because it's cross-platform.
Make them money.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's cross-platform on PC and Xbox One and mobile. The Switch is the only version that PlayStation 4 accounts. If you created it on a PlayStation 4 or used it on a PlayStation 4, it doesn't work. And it's obviously a competitive move by Sony, because the Nintendo Switch is selling a lot, and a lot of people are going to want to play that like they have the mobile version, portably and whatever. But this is a game that requires you to have an account that you spend money on. Like, there are multiple games where people have their accounts spread across multiple consoles, because people like to play on the PC, or they like to play on the mobile when they're on the go, or whatever, right? And people spend hundreds of dollars on microtransactions and accounts, and they have like all their wins and records. And the fact that they can't choose to play it's almost impossible for them to play the Nintendo Switch one unless they are willing to start a brand new account.
Yeah, that's
means ridiculous.
Those players, the whales that everyone is trying to market to and exploit, are going to be going to a different platform for their Fortnite fix.
Well, I think this is a double-edged sword for Sony. Obviously, they look like, massive fools, and to everyone, and they're being blasted in the media, and their shares dropped, because it was such a big deal. But ultimately, I think people who are upset about this are not gonna. Their accounts are too precious that they're not gonna make accounts on the Nintendo Switch. They're just gonna stick with what they have on the PlayStation 4 and ignore the fact that they could play it on Switch with a new account. And ultimately, I think Sony probably are gonna retain the player base for the most part, because they would have seen a significant amount switch over, no pun intended, to the Switch. So, although they look like a PR disaster, I think in the long run, they're going to retain most of the player base. So,
and this Sony, it's not like Xbox is doing this. It's Sony that's doing this.
Yeah.
Sony's like the console to have other than having the Switch.
Exactly, right? So I think although they might have expected that it would be a PR disaster and stuff like this would have happened, in the long run, I think ultimately it's a shitty consumer thing, but they personally are going to probably be more in the profit for this decision, I think, compared to...
it'll work?
Yeah, because people are not going to sacrifice their accounts to make a new one.
Wow.
If you've spent and plowed hours into your account, you're not going to just throw it all away just because you can play it on the Switch. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And Sony know that. Sony know they're not going to do that. Whereas if they allowed for this to happen, and it is shitty, and it's hugely bad business practice to do this, if they had allowed, they would have seen a huge portion of their player base move over to the Nintendo Switch.
So imagine it. Let me put it in terms that you would understand, George. Imagine you're playing Dark Souls and you spend a whole day without saving, going through the Souls game, right?
Okay.
And then you just die and lose everything.
So I got to get back to the retrieval.
It's not even that.
But
imagine
you're far in. You're far in. There's no way you're getting it, and you die before even getting to that retrieval. And a whole day inside. So let's say 12 hours.
So where's my last bonfire checkpoint?
There is no. You didn't touch any bonfires. You went straight through.
George, if you could take your Siege account. We all know
Okay.
you're a big fan of Siege, right?
Okay.
If Siege was announced for the Nintendo Switch and you were intrigued to play it, and maybe there was a keyboard and mouse way of playing it on the Switch, and you could play it anywhere, right?
Okay.
Sounds intriguing, right?
It's sure. Yes.
But Ubisoft lock your account. So you have to start a new account if you want to play the Switch version. Are you gonna switch over to the Nintendo Switch?
See, George,
I
Or are you gonna
could
just
see myself just experimenting with it, but not
experimenting
like,
with
committing.
it? But
Yeah,
exactly.
it would be like making an alt account.
This is the thing. Everyone who will play it on Switch will make an alt account that they'll play for the excitement of playing on the Switch. And then when that dies, everyone will go back to their main accounts, and the PlayStation will still retain the largest part of the player base, which, with the biggest game in the world right now, is
That's so
very
sad.
profitable. So it's terrible PR move right now, and it's bad business practice and consumer manipulation. But
it doesn't
ultimately,
matter.
It's going to be the best decision for Sony.
Really doesn't matter. Like no one's gonna care about this. Sony's not gonna
Right.
back down, and
2
people are
weeks'
gonna
time, no
forget
one's gonna
this.
care.
Like a month from now, no one's gonna even remember this happened.
Why do you think companies don't make demos anymore, kids?
Yeah, they want you to play
There
their
you go.
crappy game before actually buying it.
So
Well, last week we were talking about a model for like David Cage style, Telltale style, interactive narrative experience games where they could maybe like do the first episode for free and then demo the rest of the episodes. Well. Speaking of bringing back demo models to the public in ways that might not be financially sustainable, according to the latest research on how demos aren't profitable. Netflix is going to be bringing a watered-down version of Minecraft Story Mode to Netflix, which weirds me out. Have you guys read about this thing?
No, I thought it was already
Okay.
watered down. How could you water it down further?
Somehow they're going to water down Minecraft Story Mode a bit further. And release what I'm guessing is an entirely streamable version of Minecraft Story Mode. This comes off of the Western release of the streamed version of Resident Evil 7 that just came out on the Switch alongside...
oh yeah, the thing that didn't work. That's a good thing to base it off.
Yeah, I am seeing more and more of these streamed release. There was a Phantasy Star Online one. What was it? Phantasy Star Online 2? Did they ever make it up to 3 in that series? But the Switch version of that game was entirely streamed over via video files. What Netflix is doing with this version of Minecraft Story Mode is streaming over a Choose Your Own Adventure version of the game for kids that is even less time dependent and interactive than the regular version of it. And I feel like
This is
I
something
should
none
be a
of us are
little
going to play.
leery. Well, right, something none of us are going to play, but also something that might kind of signify the dangerous, shaky new colonization version of the quote unquote future. Or if those fears might be unfounded. Because streaming is seeming to exist more and more as a separate pillar of game consuming options next to regular old downloads. I believe PlayStation Now just threw a download button into its service for PlayStation 4 games that you stream through that service. And I get a little nervous every single time I see any news of any streaming games entering the format of a mainstream brand or service or IP, which this is a big partnership of. It's Minecraft and Netflix pushing in streaming into your child's life.
I mean, they just don't work very well. Like, that's the bottom line. Unless you have incredible internet and the server is stable that day, you are never going to have a experience like, especially with a game like Resident Evil 7, you're never going to have the one-to-one experience you have with the game downloaded or on disc. This, I guess, with a episodic kind of game like this, it's not such a big problem where there's streaming issues, unless graphically it just looks like a 240p YouTube video on your TV. Like, this is kind of the only thing I could see working right now for, like, the majority of people who have, you know, mediocre to pretty decent internet.
But remember those QTEs.
But that's the thing, is like,
when you're streaming video games, players have to deal with a degree of input lag that these games are not built for, and the QTEs can get pretty twitchy sometimes. So even this format seems like it might have a hard time being adapted over to a streaming method of
that's
delivery.
the thing, is just like Resident Evil 7 that has gunplay and moments that you have to have QTEs. It's just, streaming services are not that good. You're always going to have lag. You're going to die more times than you want because of the technology. It's not quite there yet. I know some people are going to argue with me, but those people probably have like fantastic internet and have great examples. But we're talking about like the majority of people, especially if it's going to be on a service like Netflix, which runs on everything, like on toasters. Everyone's going to have access to this, and for the majority of people, it's going to be a pretty bad experience.
So why do they keep pushing it out?
Because it's the future. Because one day it will work, and everyone will want to be the first people to have got it right. Netflix were the first people to get online movie streaming and TV shows right, and look what Netflix is. Netflix is the dominant force. So, you know, like, you can say all you want, but every game CEO and everybody is talking about streaming being the future. And, like, we all laugh at them and, like, haha, it's not going to work. But they're the people who make the decisions. So they're going to be pushing their technology to work like that. And we just have to get used to it. So we're going to see more and more of this where people experiment trying to get it right. So they're the first people to get the $1 million market before everyone else does. So
I feel like a lot of what you just described is a horribly unfair situation that needs to drastically change at a fundamental level. I
know, I agree, but as I said, it's not in our hands unless we vote with our wallets. But you know how that goes with the gamers. We've just celebrated a fucking week-long advertisement. Like, we're not great. We love capitalism in the video game industry, so we're gonna just follow with whatever the next technology is. You know, we put up with motion controls for like 5 years. We put up with the Kinect for 3. It's like,
and people didn't even really buy that shit, and it still kept getting squeezed through.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Should we move on to questions? More positive from
should.
our lovely sons, dads. Happy Father's Days to the dads.
Oh
and
yeah,
sons.
that's right. That was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully you got
Matt's
some
birthday.
socks from your kids or something.
Yeah. Happy
Don't
birthday to
forget
Matt as well.
To tell your dads you didn't forget. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Matt, Dad.
Happy birthday. I was never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Old Marius from Norway says, since we got another story trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, I was wondering if any of you guys have played the original and whether you liked it.
No, please add the next bit, because just the next sentence.
Oh, also, what is your hype level for BG and E2? I am concerned
It was pretty damn high until they announced yesterday, laughably, that they're aiming to have an open beta by the end of 2019.
Wow.
That's how high my hype level right now is.
Oh hell!
I am concerned
did
it will... Sorry.
Why did they announce that? Like, you would just say, you know, we've shown you what we're working on right now. You know, we're moving towards it. But you're like, yeah, we're aiming. Keyword being aiming. We're aiming to have our first beta at the end of next year.
That sounds like
year.
a generous window. What's so red flaggy about that?
A red flag is that it was announced was it announced like a couple of years prior, but they first showed it off last year or whatever. And then we've seen more of it this year. We've seen like a running gameplay, and then like they're aiming for a beta like of the game, like not the game's release, like a beta of a game of whatever state it's going to be in at the end of next year. It's June of 2018.
Yeah,
Like,
so they got plenty of time to work on it and make it good.
But I don't know, the idea of not playing Beyond Good and Evil until 2020, and we're talking about it now, it's like, why even bother?
Premature, man.
Exactly.
Because it was 2004's greatest
you're
undeserved hit or something, right?
You're gonna be playing Elder Scrolls 6, you know, after Starfield, before you play Beyond Good and Evil 2. By the way, Ubisoft are going about it.
Dude, fair enough though. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the like Duke Nukem Forever of more respectable franchises. I can people who have been waiting for this thing for some reason for so long can probably afford to give it 2 more years. So,
yeah, but when you announce that you're aiming for open beta by the end of next year...
Listen. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was on stage, okay?
Asking you to do some work for him.
All right? That's it. That's it. The game is sold. It's good to go. You got a sexy man involved. That's it.
you got a curse monkey.
Yeah.
Have we all played the first game? Should we answer his question?
No, I have not played it.
I have played it.
Yeah, okay. So, Liam, am I wrong, or was it just kind of good?
It was
but
kind of
not
fine.
Great.
It was a good experience. Like, it's a good game. Like a lot of games.
I think
But
it's a good game. I just
I
is it
don't
just me?
understand
It
as
seems
well.
yeah, it seems a little
I don't
overrated,
understand.
kinda.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
And I'm
I
also
don't
wondering
understand.
what
It looks-
genre
it
they're
looked-
going at with the second one too. The first one is it's I don't know what else to call it other than a Zelda clone. It's a Zelda clone.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah,
It's a mix between those weird PlayStation 2 platformers like Sly Cooper and stuff like that, and when they mix the stealth. With
Oh, the
also,
first
like,
one. Okay.
There is only one.
Oh, I thought you were
now.
talking about the second one for some reason.
I don't think we have a solid idea of how the second.
yeah,
one
God-
That's why
God
when
knows
I
how
heard
that's
Zelda
gonna be.
clone, I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Okay, yeah. I'm looking at the pictures now. It looks very old. Very old.
Bring up the pictures.
2004, I think. But yeah, you have like a third-person, distant camera, puzzle-solving platformer adventure. You set
You
a
can play
gadget
pool. You can play
onto
pool in
another
it.
item. You have a
take
little
photos?
boat that you drive around to islands that have items and mini games on them.
Wait,
There's
what?
like a currency of stuff that comes out of pots when you smash them, if I remember correctly. You go to a shop to buy healing items with money that you get from mowing lawns.
You're making it
Anyways,
sound very boring. Let's not.
well, it's like the story that's exciting. You play as a like journalist type character who snaps pictures of a corporate conspiracy to exploit everyone's planets.
It's a good PlayStation 2 game. It's not the greatest PlayStation 2 game of all time, and because there is only one in the series, I imagine most of this is just cult fanaticism.
Classics.
For some reason, every time you mention it, you'll hear like, "Oh, and Beyond Good and Evil 2, one of the most Beyond Good and Evil, one of the most underrated games ever," or Beyond Good and Evil, like my favorite female character in video games ever, or Beyond Good and Evil, my favorite game no one remembers ever. In a world where God Hand exists.
Oh, I still haven't played that game.
Wait,
That's-
Beyond Good and
that's
Evil or
God
God
Hand's
Hand?
problem.
Gone Hand. The game with
Play
the
God
crazy
Hand.
like
Gone Ham?
like smashing
Play God
things.
Hand.
Yeah.
Or the first person walking simulator sequel, Gone Ham.
Wow. I'm trying not to giggle. I'm really trying.
Hey,
holding it in.
crazy Jerry Mouse 555. How you doing, buddy?
Freaking go ham.
John, who's apparently crazy Jerry Mouse 555, asks, "Hello, gang. Has there ever been a piece of media, be it a movie, TV show, game, or songs, that was simply a dream come true? I guess this is the kind of feeling you only get when you're older and have seen droughts of lackluster stuff until that one thing finally arrives and blows your goddamn mind. Sincerely, John," which is why I say that John is crazy Jerry Mouse 555.
Oh.
If I'm entirely honest, it's probably Smash.
That's your dream come true?
Just like having Nintendo's entire sort of history in what, not specifically like Smash 1. I'm talking about Smash like for Wii U. Like,
Or just like the idea of Smash in general, because
Yeah,
it seems like
yeah,
such an
yeah.
unlikely crossover until you fully accept it for what it is. Like, yeah, of course they can do that with all these characters. They're all under the same company umbrella.
Well,
It's
that's
not
the
like
thing
it would
is,
be
like,
hard, but
yeah, bringing it together. You know, everyone loves a crossover. Crossover games are great. You know, Marvel vs. Capcom, SNK vs. Capcom have been great games in the past. And in terms of like, as a fan of Nintendo, Smash has been fantastic for that. And Smash 4 was the ultimate, until we literally got Ultimate. Just the build up to it was amazing. You know, having the Mega Man trailer, the Shulk trailer, the Villager trailer, like all these incredibly cool animated shorts building up to it. And then the game came out and it had like 50 plus characters. And then the DLC had Bayonetta and Cloud. It was just such a wonderfully joyous mismatch, but perfect collaboration of so many wonderful Japanese companies coming together. And then Smash, the way it presents itself, is such a celebration of video games in general, like especially Smash 4. People forget, like, you could play like old NES and Super Nintendo games in Smash 4. Like, you could play demos of them and then download them from the Virtual Console.
Yeah,
You could do
forgot
that.
about that.
That was so cool. It had like its own internal museum, and then it has like all the trophies, and they have all the information of all the games. It was just like, for someone who loves video games and for someone who nerds out over old information about Nintendo stuff, like it's easily the perfect example of a dream come true piece of media, in a sense, for me. So yeah, if I'm honest, I think it would be Smash 4 would be probably my best example. I don't know about you guys.
I have an answer that's pretty Georgie,
Okay.
and that is the Witcher 3, and that comes from all of the books that I was reading beforehand, because the very beginning of that game does such a good job of writing on the pulse of what I was thinking was cool about going through those books at the time, that I just couldn't believe how well they were nailing the tone. How you see these fan servicey moments of Kaer Morhen looking exactly like how it did in The Witcher 1, without them needing to change the floor plan for video gamey reasons. They just like up the texture resolution and put more foliage down there because it's been 3 years and that's it. And then they have you walking through this training routine with Ciri that plays out just like a bit of the book that I was working through at the time that I was playing through that section. And the coincidence of that, of hitting the book material at the same time as the game material, gave it this surreal feel to it that hasn't been duplicated before or after. That was really just good fortune and lucky timing. But that's my submission for that, for
Which 3 is
reifying
pretty damn good.
for reifying the abstract feels of 2 games and 3 books that I had previously consumed and loved. That's why I select that one as like my dream come true for weirdly doing what was a specific George thing?
Shoot. I don't really pick favorites.
Hollow
so it's
Knight
hard
doesn't
for me.
count, Matt.
It's hard for me. All right, so okay, things that have blown my mind. Like I would say, like on the I'm a good sci-fi movie will just destroy it. Like I'll just sit there and I'll be sucked into this freaking future world that I one day want to be a part of. Like when I sat there and watched Interstellar, my brain was melting. I was just like, wow, how the hell did he make this look so good? Like I don't know, just like the cinematic part of Christopher Nolan, how he like creates these worlds like out of nowhere is quite amazing, I would say. Like that, you know, like he's made like The Dark Knight and stuff like that, and Heath Ledger was amazing and stuff like that. Everyone likes that stuff. But like I would say as far as sci-fi movies, there's a few that come to mind, like Ex Machina and all that has like sat there and like, wow, I really enjoyed that movie. I don't know if necessarily like blow my goddamn mind away type of stuff, but I guess that's what I could pick. I guess. You know, I like, yeah. I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about movies, but yeah, that's kind of what I first thought of, other than like, Westworld or Whiplash or, any of those types of stuff. But yeah.
Alec Graham asks, my friend and I are planning a trip to Japan, so I want to get your input on a particular subject, social faux pas. What are some common things that foreigners do that really chap the hides of the locals? Good expression. These can be things you were informed of after causing a social contract infraction, things you knew before going, things you picked up on after being in Japan, and Liam is already laughing. For example, I've heard wiping your nose is a no-go. Liam, is that a no-go?
I think you should talk loud in the train as well. They actually quite like it.
Yes, really loud.
Like
in your phone in the train.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the train. We'll get to public transport because that's probably the main one. But in terms of like stuff like wiping your nose, yeah, in Japan, blowing your nose or wiping your nose is like rude, whereas sniffing and making loud noises like sniffing fucking mucus in your nose is not, for some reason, even though it's gross.
And you can burp at the dinner table too.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you can, but it's not like it's generally everyone's okay with it. What you can do though, which is totally fine and is actually encouraged, is slurping, because slurping is an indicator that your meal is really good. So usually if you're eating ramen or udon or something noodle based, you will hear like someone's dick's getting stuck in the restaurant.
Oh my god!
Wow,
dude, it is like every porno. You would walk into a ramen restaurant, if you had your eyes closed, you'd think there was like a fucking orgy going on. It's so loud, just like people slurping all over the place. But it's an indicator to the restaurant and to the chef that your meal is good. That it's so tasty that you can't stop eating it. So they are perfectly sociably acceptable things in Japan that aren't in the West. But in terms of like some things you definitely shouldn't do unless you want to be like, because no one in Japan is going to tell you not to do them. That's the thing about Japan, is like we saw with Logan Paul, no one stopped him, because in Japan people aren't going to do it. They're just going to look down on you and they're going to think bad of every other foreigner in Japan. So don't do things like talk super loudly on the train or the bus. Don't do it. Don't drink or eat on the bus. You could probably drink, but don't eat. Especially like a sandwich or something messy. Don't do that.
What about casual conversation?
Like, you can have casual conversation, just don't be loud. Like if you
No, I'm talking about with like if you're a foreigner talking to a boy or a girl, Like, how is your day going, or anything like that?
no,
Does that
that's-
happen?
Yeah, that's totally fine, right? Just gauge the level of the train you're on. You'll notice that most trains are pretty much silent, apart from usually younger people are talking,
Yeah.
but they're not very loud, right? It's the same level. But you know what, like, groups of foreigners are like? Super loud, you know? Everyone's talking over each other, just like a 3-person podcast. You know? It's gonna be loud. So you don't... In Japan, that's not good. And on top of that, what's even worse is talking on your phone. Don't do that. Don't talk on your phone. Nobody talks on a phone anyway these days. I haven't had a call.
What a sentence.
Yes.
Usually
Don't talk on your
Americans act okay. It's the other people from the other
Man.
countries around there. They act like dicks, man. God. I mean,
don't
like,
know.
they talk trash about, like, the people, like, serving them. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's... I don't know. I'm talking smack
it's
about
all
Germany and all these other
It's
people
all-
who come into
I
the
don't
freaking
know.
country and talk so much.
I don't know. We call it gaijin smashing, and it's just like it's Australians, British, American, Canadian.
Oh, it's American.
African.
'Cause I never see Americans. They're like really quiet. Like the people I've seen over there.
No way, dude.
Yeah?
No way. There's a reason that every like bad thing that happens in Japan is like because of a Yankee. There's a reason they call bad Japanese students Yankees.
Jake Paul.
Yeah. Racism towards Americans. Like, you know. But, you know, there have
kinda
been cases
justified
like
with the
recently,
amount of-
like in Shibuya, there
Ugh.
was like a dude who was like graffitiing stuff and he was a foreigner. And just like don't talk on your phone. Don't eat on trains.
Did I ever tell you guys the story about when I got searched by the cops in Japan?
Yeah, that
Did
will
they
happen.
grab
And
you?
If you don't have your passport, you're gonna go to the
I
police
had
station.
my
George.
passport.
Yeah, you're lucky. If you didn't have your passport, you're gonna go to the police
I
station.
was just waiting on a restaurant to open up, minding my own business, and the police.
There's no
were
crime
like,
in Japan, George. Have you not heard? The police have got nothing to do but hassle foreigners, and that is totally true. That is something that is actually quite talked about.
I can assure you with my own anecdotal experience that police will hassle the foreigners.
They won't
They
try
will.
to kill you or beat
No,
you
no,
up at
I
times,
never
would
felt
they?
like I was in danger. They were not very intimidating.
Then
Most
really,
of the time,
who cares?
they're asking if you're lost.
They-
They're asking if you're lost most of the time. But yeah,
You're in
just
the
don't
wrong
be
hood,
loud.
boy.
Don't be obnoxious. Don't eat in public. Don't eat on the street unless you're standing outside of a konbini. Don't litter. Jesus Christ, don't litter. Like there are no bins in Japan, so if you get like a bottle from a vending machine or you get like something from the konbini
Throw it
and
on
you
the
walk
floor.
around, you're gonna carry it around with you all day because there are no bins.
So don't drink at all, and piss on the floor as well.
Yeah. I mean, probably pissing on the floor is probably more socially acceptable than littering in Japan.
wear
So
shoes inside.
I'm
like,
glad
all
I'm
the time.
confusing the whole message here. I'm gonna keep going with
Yeah.
this.
track your dust all over their floors. They love it.
Bring a
Yeah,
broom and
bring-
dustpan to sweep after you as you walk
That's how they
through
do
the
it.
street.
Yeah. That's how it works. Garrett R asks, as people who play, discuss, and critique games a great deal, how do you find a balance between letting yourself have fun, get immersed, and taking a step back to analyze or critique the game?
There isn't.
There isn't. Do you find yourself doing one or the other more often? Yeah.
Lately, I've
Analyzing.
been enjoying myself, even though the critique is just like in the back of my mind, just like nibbling at my soul.
I'm still not able to enjoy myself.
Well, see, what you have to do is just don't review games for a long period of time, and it will slowly come back. It won't go away, but it will slowly come back. Like, oh, this
Try and
game is
make
only okay,
games.
but I'm enjoying myself.
try and make games, and you'll realize how fucking hard it is. And then when you play them, you're like, man, I wish I could make this game, and it could be the worst piece of shit in the world. And you'd be like, hey, at least I have a newfound appreciation for it.
I
And then you'll
remember
know-
back when I used to make mods, I would constantly nag myself with the question in the back of my head when playing games, and that is, okay, what like programming or level design trick did they do to make this scripted event work correctly?
What fucking black magic did they do to design this? Like, why can't I do this?
It's a little similar when I'm playing games with my mindset now, because I'm constantly thinking in the back of my head, okay, how would I re-describe this in a script? And in neither case am I thinking, oh, this is fun. Or like, oh, this is cute that they thought of that. It's like, how do I reproduce this work in my own work somehow?
Oh,
And
man. I get it all the time. And like, I'm working on a new project now, and I keep playing like games of a similar vein to it, and I'm just like, fuck's sakes, I'm not worth anything. Like,
It sucks. Like, constantly thinking about work in the middle of not work.
Yeah. Slow depression sets in.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're all just like suddenly feeling a terrifyingly overwhelming feeling of emotional intensity here at this
Damn it,
question.
Garrett.
Guys? Guys? Did Garrett kill us?
Well, thank you for listening to the Dad and Sons podcast.
I'm gonna go play games and feel depressed about my life.
Hollow
No.
Knight will take me out of my depression.
Yeah, because it's a game you can't possibly critique because it's so perfect. And
It
George,
is
what are you
so
gonna do?
perfect. It is a perfect 10 in every way.
I'm gonna go make a YouTube poop.
Oh, I wish you were joking.
Someone wrote a comment saying they wish I did a YouTube poop about Life is Strange.
Oh my god.
I can't
Oh
believe
my
out
God.
of,
You would
I can't
have to
believe out of all
record it
all of
without the
E3
music
chat we had.
and just like make it dry
Yeah.
as possible. Yeah.
Oh my god! But this is the thing. I can't believe out of all of the E3 talk we had last week, the one that got like a lot of comments was me trashing Life is Strange's script.
Well, we had a really good reaction to it. Both me and Matt at the same time were like flabbergasted.
How are you? Oh,
Life is Strange is
terrible.
fine.
It's like David. It's what David Cage did.